Hello, this is an overview for week 2. This week we're going to dive into philosophy headlong. So things are going to get a little bit more complicated than last week, but I hope that it's interesting and fun. We're going to begin by looking at proofs for the existence of God, and we're going to spend the next 3 weeks on this topic. So this is one of my favorite topics in all of philosophy. I like it a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. And I just want to be clear that it doesn't matter to me what it is that you believe on this topic or on any of the topics that we consider in class. So if you believe in God, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. If you're agnostic, that's also fine. And to be clear, it's my intention as your instructor for you to not know what my beliefs are. I feel like if you know what it is I believe, then I've started to fail as an instructor. Okay, and as with every question that we consider in this class, what I hope that you get from it are the tools to question what the particular belief is that you have, and my hope is here that this questioning will eventually make your beliefs stronger or allow you to throw out weak beliefs. And in addition, since we're going to be talking about God, and that can be an important subject for a lot of people, it's obviously very important to be respectful of people who hold different views from you. So this week, as I'm sure you've noticed, there are a lot of small assignments. There's 6 total, plus the text post and the video discussion post, the video audio discussion post. The first question that we're going to be considering this week is what your views currently are. And I wanted to add that even though there's 6 assignments, each of the assignments are pretty short, and the readings are also very short. I think in total for all of the assignments this week, there's maybe 2.5 pages of reading, maybe. It might be a little bit closer to 2 pages. So it's not very long, but it's very, very dense and very complicated. So there's probably going to be a few times this week when you're doing the reading and you have no idea what's going on. Please just stick with it and try to do your best, and hopefully the videos will help clarify what's going on. So we're going to begin, as I said, I'm going to ask you to consider a few questions about what it is you currently believe and why. Then we're going to consider St. Anselm's ontological argument. Next, we're going to consider an objection to this argument by Thomas Aquinas, and then Aquinas' own cosmological argument for the existence of God. Now, these 2 words, ontological and cosmological, might seem pretty weird, and they are weird, but ontological means an argument from being, and we'll see that Anselm's argument follows from the way that he defines God, whereas cosmological means of this world. So we'll see that Aquinas' arguments for the existence of God follow from observations he makes about our world. Finally, we're going to end the week by looking at an objection to Aquinas' argument by Bertrand Russell. There's also, as I said, a text discussion board and the video audio discussion board. So what I'm hoping you start to get out of this week is to recognize that philosophy proceeds by presenting arguments, then objecting to these arguments, and finally trying to reply to these objections. So a lot of the tasks that I'm asking you to do this week are to try to put the arguments that we both read and hear about in the videos into your own words, and then to try to come up with possible objections and responses to the objections. And as always, if you have any problems or questions, please feel free to reach out to me. So now I'm going to look at the 2 people we are talking about this week. So, who is St. Anselm? Here is a rendering of St. Anselm in stained glass. St. Anselm lived from 1033 to 1109, and there actually aren't any portraits of St. Anselm that were actually made from his likeness. They're all just artists envisioning what Anselm looked like. Here's another portrait of Anselm. This one was actually done in 1584, so this is over 500 years after he died. And this has Anselm's seal. So this is a seal is what you used to push into a piece of wax that sealed a letter. And I think that the Latin says something like the seal of Archbishop Anselm by the grace of God. So as I said, St. Anselm was born in 1033. And he entered the monastery of Bec Normandy at 27 and eventually became the abbot of that monastery. That's like the boss, the guy in charge. It was during this time that Anselm began publishing his theological works, including the work that we're looking at today. In 1093, Anselm was appointed Archbishop of Canterbury. This was at age 60. And he died in 1109 at the age of 76, which is pretty old today and was certainly very old then. Our reading is the Ontological Argument, and it's from Anselm's work Proslogoion. And Proslogoion means address, and the whole book, except for the prologue, is addressed to God and takes the form of a prayer. The second person that we're going to be looking at this week is Thomas Aquinas. So Thomas Aquinas was born in 1225 and died in 1274. So he was about 150 or 200 years after Anselm. Here's another picture of Aquinas. So, as I said, he lived from 1255 to 1225 to 1274. He was a Dominican friar who taught theology at the University of Paris. Much of his work during this time was focused on reconciling Christian dogma with the works of Aristotle. The works of Aristotle had just recently been rediscovered, and so there was a lot of interest in reconciling Aristotle's views with Christianity, and this is a lot of what Aquinas spent his time doing. And just so you understand what he's doing in his method that seems very strange to us, what he's trying to do is search out the best arguments on both sides of an issue and then look for a solution that combines both of these sides. So I hope everybody has a good week this week, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.